Many of us who have been on a spiritual path for some time, whether we're just beginning or we've been practicing for quite a while, we've come across the term oneness. You hear it a lot, especially when people refer to Buddhism and the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha often talked about oneness. And indeed, you may find parallels in many, many religions, many cultures, many spiritual practices throughout the world. They mention oneness in some way or another. We are all one, we're all connected, we're all the same energy. Many different ways of saying it. But what does oneness really mean? And if we are asking that question, then we are also asking, what does source mean? What does consciousness mean? Pick any word, even God, some would say. Everyone has a different definition of what God means, I think. But whether you call it God or source or consciousness or oneness or the universe, however you like to refer to it, there's something that all of those words are pointing to. And that is something that we have to recognize right away when we're attempting to discuss this, is that we can never capture oneness. And that's the word I'm going to use for it now and probably in the future. But whenever we're attempting to talk about oneness, know that we can never capture it with concepts or with words. So in essence, everything that I am about to say about oneness is a lie. None of it is true. Because oneness is beyond words, beyond concepts, beyond thought. It's too simple to capture with words. So now I'm going to attempt to use words in a language based on duality to point to oneness. So I could go on all day talking about the theory of how we are all one. And I often see people who say, no, I understand that we're all one. And if you're saying that, then you don't. You've yet to experience it, because no one can understand. If you understand that we're all one, then you have not truly experienced oneness. Anyone who understands oneness has not experienced it for themselves. I don't understand oneness. No one can. Because in order to understand oneness, it would imply that there is a thing, something, separate from ourselves, that we are going to wrap our minds around and grasp the concept of. So here's oneness, it's over here, I can look at it and observe it and discover it, and I've got a pretty good idea. I understand this. I understand oneness now. That isn't how it works. Oneness is just that. Think of the word we're using. One, right? So if there's literally only one thing, if we are all one, that means there is only one, correct? So there's no separation. There is no duality. There is no subject-object. There is no me and something to understand about. There is only one. So this is something that can only be experienced. The only way to experience oneness is to realize that you are already one with everything. You never stopped being one. Oneness is all there ever has been since the beginning of time, and it is all that will ever exist well after the universe is gone. It's all oneness. So how do we experience that? Starting point for many people is to begin to bring more awareness into your life. Become aware of your own thoughts and emotions. But what are we doing here in that practice? We hear it called mindfulness, the process of being present in the moment and being aware of our own inner field. Mindfulness is a horrible word for it, because it implies that it has to do with the mind, and that the mind is full of things and it's just everywhere. So I don't like that word. But the practice of being present in the moment, becoming aware of your thoughts, that's the beginning for a lot of people. But the point of these practices, being present, putting your attention on the now, bringing awareness into your thoughts and emotions, the point isn't to gain a deeper understanding of how your thoughts and emotions work. The point isn't to make sure we're really vigilant so that we catch every little thing that happens around us in our surroundings. That's not the point of those practices. The point is to get us to experience at some point that which observes all of this around us is the one thing which is literally all things. So we're getting into territory there. It's a little difficult to use the English language to describe what's going on. But to speak metaphorically, and again, this isn't the truth here. This is just using metaphor to try and capture an experience. But you could say that as you practice, you have your thoughts, emotions, sense perceptions, the things you see, feel, smell around you, your emotions, all of this, everything going on in your field of awareness. And then there's awareness. There's the things going on in your field of awareness, and there's awareness. So many people get very identified with all of this, the sense perceptions, their own thoughts and emotions, and they say, that's me, that's who I am. I'm my thoughts, my emotions, my ideas, my personality, my possessions, my job, my ideals, whatever it might be. But when we become more aware and we start to observe our thoughts and emotions, we realize there's something more steady, there's something more permanent. So that awareness itself is much more all-pervasive. It's much more present with us. It's been there always since birth. We've always been aware of our thoughts and emotions. The thoughts change, the emotions change, our environment changes, our bodies change, but the awareness is always there. So when we begin to become aware of awareness itself, that's when you've come to a beautiful point in your practice. And that's when you can really start to experience oneness. Go deeper into that. When you have that realization of there is awareness there, when you become aware of awareness, pure consciousness, awareness itself, without any thought, without any emotion attached to it, go deeply into that. You will feel that there's nothing that can remain separate there. You will feel at a certain point that even the thoughts and emotions and things happening in your fields, your sense perceptions, the world around you, the person sitting across from you, the guy in his car, out on the street, they are all one. They are all the same. That awareness is not separate from anything within the field of awareness. You can think of it as a drop of water in the ocean. When the drop of water enters the ocean, can you find that drop of water anymore? Can you go in the vast ocean while you're underwater and pick out and say, right here, there's the drop? It's all just the ocean. It's all the ocean. So the same thing, whether it's awareness that you're aware of or something in the field of awareness, it's all still awareness. It's all one. And you'll see this if you really become aware, if you really use your attention, your ability to focus, and you turn your attention toward itself, really go deeply into that, you'll see that nothing is separate from it. And in that space of seeing, we have the most beautiful experience we can ever have as a human being, as a being of the universe. We no longer are identifying with the stream of thoughts, which is sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes joyful, sometimes angry, sometimes... We're no longer identified with the thoughts, emotions, and body. We now are completely aware that we are that consciousness, that oneness itself. And something incredible happens when you have that experience as a human being. Immense peace is experienced there. You hear the word vast used to describe it a lot, and when you experience it, you'll know why. It is. It's endless. Vast. Vast as space, the universe. Vast peace. And when you encounter something, be it an object or a person, an animal, whatever it is, an experience, then you feel the most profound love for that experience, that person, that animal, that object. Why do you experience that? Because being identified as oneness, you recognize that everything you experience, every person you encounter, they are all one. They are the same as you. And oneness loves itself. Its natural state is to deeply love. The reason we all exist is because we want to exist. We want to experience. And when we experience things purely without the veil of the mind telling us whether we like something, putting a label on something, saying, oh, that's my brother and his name is this and he does that. But when you truly experience as oneness, you recognize that that person at their essence is the exact same as you. They are not separate whatsoever. Even the physical distance you perceive almost dissolves. You almost don't even see a physical distance between yourself. You are one. So you deeply love everything. And you experience joy. Immense joy. Waves of joy and bliss and ecstasy. For no reason. No reason that the mind can understand, at least. And at this point, it may sound like I'm talking about some kind of crazy drug experience or something. But it's not. It's our natural state of being. Our natural state, if we find our true essence of oneness as a direct experience and not a concept in the head. Our natural state is to experience vast, vast, spacious peace. The deepest, most powerful love. And beautiful, profound joy and bliss and ecstasy all the time. And it's not to say when you have this experience that all other emotions and thoughts simply fall away. They don't. I still have them all the time. I still experience the negative emotions, or what you would call negative emotions, what people call anger, sadness. Still experience these things. But you are no longer identified with them. So when they arise in your field of awareness, they are there. You realize that they are one with everything. And simply the act of observing something as one with yourself will either immediately or shortly after dissolve that. So things arise from oneness, from awareness. They come into being, an experience, an emotion, and then they dissolve back into oneness. Again, metaphorically speaking. In truth, it's all just one, always. But no matter what's arising through your field in the background, again, metaphorically speaking, it's not really back or front or anything. But there is always peace no matter what you're experiencing. There is always a lot of joy and love. And we can all experience that. We can all directly experience this, everyone, if you begin to practice. And it doesn't have to take many, many years. You don't have to spend a lifetime sitting in a cave in order to attain this. You can experience it now, right now. You have the choice. In truth, you are already one. You are already perfect. You are already full of peace, love, and joy. Step away from the thoughts. Realize that you are one now. Thank you. I thank you if you've made it to the end of this video with me. And I invite you to take just a few moments to experience oneness with me. So simply be present. Observe without commenting. Place your awareness on just awareness itself. Be here with me now in oneness, as oneness. Thank you.